Okay, so for any of you that are still here, I know it's been a little while. I've been busy with work, and as you can probably see from the quality of the video and hear from the quality of the audio, I've upgraded substantially, and I wanted to kind of start providing a little bit of a higher quality of material here. So what we're looking at today is, dang it, there we go. This really cool mini build I did. So what we have here is your average, when you see people building ITX gaming desktops, this is the kind of thing that they're normally working with. So this is a, well, the hardware in it isn't really important, but it's a Cooler Master NR200P. I guess it's a 12900K, 32 gigs with an RTX. No, actually right now it does not. It normally has an RTX 3080, but it actually has a Radeon RX 6800 XT that I was messing around with for the moment. So that's a normal ITX build. This, it's kind of hard to show. So that kind of helps. So it kind of gives you a, I'll give you a length comparison there. So it's really quite small compared to this. Now the thing with a build like this is that there's a ton of limitations. The name of the game with a build like this is compromise, whereas when I chose the NR200P for my portable build, it was the smallest case I could get with zero compromises. I needed a few specific things. I needed I wanted multiple 2.5 drives. I wanted at least one 3.5 drive. I wanted a 240 millimeter liquid cooler. I wanted to be able to run a full, because I wanted to be able to run a full processor, so I didn't want to have to buy like an i5. I wanted to do the full i9. I wanted an upper mid-range video card, something like a 3080, 4080, something like that. And this was the only one I could find that didn't require any compromises. The biggest compromise generally being inability to fit a 3.5 with all the other hardware that I needed. There were other things, so I'm sure somebody will be like, oh, you can do that with this case or that case, but whatever. Man, it is not, it's focusing on the case, it's not on me. But overall, the NR200, I looked at some of the other ones, the Dan case, the A4H2O, the N case M1. I looked at a few of them, and I didn't need to go quite that small, and the extra space on the NR200 really gave me the freedom to do what I wanted. So look at one other side here. So you look at the top. Let's see if I can, yes, it really gives you an idea of how tiny this is. So put this to the side here. Okay. Oh. Gosh darn it. It's actually quite heavy. Okay. So what this thing is a, so this is a just a build of convenience. I had the parts laying around and I said, you know, let's build something. And I was looking and I liked the form factor of this case, because it's a standard form factor case that's just miniaturized. So we're going to take a look at the inside. And this is a full build video too, so I'm just doing hardware overview, and then you'll be able to watch me build it. So this is a Core i7 6700 non-K, 16 gigs SODIMM RAM. I put in a 1 terabyte Crucial P3 M.2. I did go with, oh, where did I put the box? I forget what this is called. This is the Noctua, maybe the N9i, something like that. What did I do with that thing? Did I leave that around here? Oh yeah, let's see here. NH L9i. If I remember correctly, the power supply is 350. I've had it for like 10 years from a build many years ago, because I don't normally use that form factor. And then it's got, on the other side, it has So I believe this is a Radeon embedded 9390. It's actually an 8 gig video card. It's video gaming performance is probably going to be something on par with like an RX 460. I think hardware-wise, it's basically a crippled RX 480, I thought, based on the stuff I saw, but actual usable day-to-day performance is going to be on par with like an RX 460, except it's got 8 gigs of RAM. I think a lot of the 460s had 2 gigs. I think they had them in 4 or 2, but I think a lot of people bought them in 2 just because it was a budget card. But so this is going to be similar to that, except when you actually need extra video RAM, it does have 8 gigs of video RAM. So there's that. And I did do, for those that do these kind of builds, I did do the Noctua fan modification on the power supply because it was a jet engine. It was so bad that it was, in my little apartment, it was useless. The only time it would have been useful was for like gaming with headphones on or loud speakers running, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted a quiet, usable system. And even with the Noctua fan, I'm not thrilled. I kind of wanted a silent build, and it's still not silent, but it's quiet enough that I can live with it. This build doesn't have a specific use at the moment. It's kind of I built it because it was there type build, and I might use it as a download server, potentially. I may be switching. I used to use my download server with an internal 18 terabyte, which I may be switching my download server over to a network setup, in which case I would use this as the kind of the use terminal for that. I may jack around with Linux on it. I don't know. It's just a cool build. I had the parts. I got the parts, except for the case and the Noctua stuff. I got the parts for basically free from work, so something to jack with. I wouldn't recommend this set of parts and this setup to anyone that has to pay for it. It's not a good value for what you're getting overall, unless you need exactly what this is. I don't believe this is a good value, so watch, enjoy the video, enjoy me building it, but please don't go buy this set of hardware. If you're going to do something like this, build something newer, maybe like a 14th gen i3, and then skip the video card or something like that. It's not a good value. But it's interesting. It's a fun little build, so I hope you guys find this interesting, and let's do some gaming before I do the build. So I'm going to transition from this to a little bit of game demo, and then I'll have, if you want to watch the rest of the video, the 30 minutes of it, I'll have the build itself on video. So let's get to it. Okay, so this is going to be the first one we're going to look at. This is an awesome example of a game that looks really good on comparatively low-end hardware. This game is now over 10 years old, and it still looks as good as... I'm not going to say quite as good, but, well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of newer stuff that doesn't quite look this good yet, so, it's definitely an awesome option because of how old it is and how little of hardware it takes to run compared to what's available. I mean, this is basically hardware. This build is hardware out of the recycle bin. So, I mean, this is running out of... this is basically e-waste. I'm running Crysis 3 at 60 FPS. Okay, to be fair... Okay, this is BS. You've got high and very high, but on the advanced graphics, so we're at low. But come on, we're hitting nearly 60 FPS on Crysis 3 on e-waste, which I think is pretty dang cool. Like I said, it looks really good. If you're on limited hardware and you want to have some fun and play something that looks good and runs at a playable frame rate, this is actually a really good option. This is awesome. If you haven't played this game, Crysis 3 is kind of one of those games you just gotta play it. Probably runs better than Crysis 1, actually. Well, I might do Crysis 1 later, though. But this is definitely playable. Looks like the frame rate drops a little here and there, but it's definitely playable. and definitely a ton of fun. So I can take these out without getting shot. One more.
How you firing that? Jesus!
Oh, got it.
But that is fucking beautiful! Okay, you got Cell's attention. Suggest we move out immediately.
Supposedly they're working on Crysis 4. Not holding my breath. It's been over 10 years now. Looks like we're coming up on actually 11, 12 years. Because this came out in 2013, I think. This guy's gonna get me. They always get me. Oh, I got him. Yeah, looks like there's a little bit of quality loss when you're looking at some of the far out draw stuff, but it's not bad. This was always one of my favorite games. For many, many years, this was like the game that I played. But it's so crazy how low of a system can run this now. Temperatures are decent. So we're a little bit warm, but it's not bad.
Threat level is now elevated.
I think he's the only one left. You gotta pay attention and know where they are, or they'll suddenly mob you, and you, even with your suit, you can't stop them. Oh, that guy. Like I said, he almost got me.
Warning. Insurgent activity reported in perimeter structure.
Yeah, definitely a good place to start if again you've got limited hardware. By modern standards, this is, I mean, like I keep saying, this is e-waste. So okay, so just a couple of minutes of that. We don't need to do a whole 10-minute video or something with it. Just kind of a couple of quick minutes to show you what to expect. So we'll, I don't even know what the next one's going to be. I'll find out in a few minutes. But anyway, that was Crysis 3. Okay, and here we have yet another absolutely awesome older game that looks great. This is another one that I have always been a huge fan of ever since the first time I played it. Come on. There we go. It's generally considered a very well optimized game. Let's see here. As you can see, it looks pretty good. I am running at a comparatively low setting level. Let's take a look. We're running at 1080. And I have most of the stuff turned all the way down. I think we're going to be fine. Honestly, at do we have motion blur? Doesn't look like we have a motion blur option. Let's turn that off, but yeah, it looks like we're good. Again, as I've said before, a lot of these games, you weren't really shooting for ultra-high frame rate back in the day. I think this is another 2016 release, and to be honest, I think this was just before we got to the point where over 60 FPS was kind of the goal. And this was just before games like Fortnite and Apex and stuff like that really started coming out. I do have it set to the hard setting just to make it some of a challenge. Again, this is another one I've played quite a bit, so I'm fairly decent at, comparatively speaking. Not exactly the world's best gamer, but but I'm decent at this one. And as you can see, I mean, even at even at the comparatively lower frame rate, I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm gonna guess as long as we stay above a solid 30, it'll probably keep looking pretty decent. Like I said, a lot of these older games, you just didn't run it at the extreme frame rates that we're shooting for these days. Take them out.
Use your cores, people. L4, get to that underground entrance.
And this is quite a bit of action, too. It's not always going to be this demanding on the system. Missing. Oh my God. Come on. There we go. Definitely shows there's a lot of games like this that can run on fairly low-end hardware. It's quite impressive, actually. I remember these are games that I used to demo on, like systems that I'd sell for like $500–600, which in the used world is a decent mid-range build. To give you an idea, today that would be like maybe a 9700K with maybe like a 2070, something like that would be that price today.
Excessive damage. Warning. Warning.
About to get me. We'll go find someone. Oh, I think they may have gotten me.
Replacement battery required.
You got to get these. You got to pick these batteries up. They give you energy, and they're basically your health item for this game. For those that haven't played it, this is regarded as one of the best single-player campaigns of all time. So if you haven't played this game and you're a fan of this type of thing, this is one that you really should play. But anyway, that should give you a pretty good idea. I mean, that's like maximum action going on with all of that. So a lot of times you're going to see better performance. That's kind of a worst case scenario, highest load type of thing. So anyway, on to the next one. Okay, so let's get started. Trying to make it so you can see what's on here on the video. I want you to be able to see the whole build being done. So I have done this already. I've tested the parts. I know everything works. This is more just to get it on video. Actually a really cool little case. Working with it, this exact form factor, just like an inch larger on each side, would probably be more ideal. It's smaller than it actually has to be, and there's basically the name of the game with this thing is compromise. Oh, that's... Oh, wait. That's interesting. Oh, okay, those are just for that. I was like, wait, you can mount it? I didn't think you could do that. It's like, you can mount it. I remember those are for the PCIe riser. Okay, so how did you do this? I think if I remember right. Put that there. I didn't think to double check this before I took it apart. Okay. Okay, so let's put, I'm trying to think, yeah, it's got to be like this. Wait, oops. Unless I set it up, I don't think they set it up like this. No, it has to be the other way. Okay, so it's got to go underneath there. And it's got a screw to hard mount it to the case because you don't really want it. You could leave it flopping around, but that wouldn't really be ideal. I may have to move that once I'm done here. Okay, so we are going to grab our heatsink. This heatsink actually works fairly well, to be honest, but I was really shooting for a quieter build than what it can do. It's probably more the fan, honestly. This giant hunk of copper these things come with, probably more than sufficient, but the problem is, I'm gonna have to go grab some heatsink. That's another thing I forgot to put by the video area here. So, old but good, Arctic MX4. Is the camera gonna focus? Focus. Focus. You gonna focus? I'm still playing around with this camera, learning how to make stuff work. Interesting. It doesn't seem to want to focus on the smaller item. Okay. So this NHL9i is as basic can be. The heatsink literally just screws. The screws literally just go in on the bottom, and they just screw straight into the heatsink. There's not even a back plate or anything for it. It literally just screws straight to the heatsink. The screws just have little, you can kind of see them. Oops, it's not liking my hand there. Okay, you can kind of see the little plastic grommets on them that keep them from making direct metal-to-metal contact. Okay, where is my... Okay, fan 1, CPU... Okay, so yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, how's that even supposed to work? Oh, wait. Did I miss something? I feel like... Okay, well, maybe not. Okay. I have to flip this over. I feel like I must be doing something wrong here. I feel like there's no way it could be this simple, but I think it might be. Okay, so we got the right shape on there, so now we can just screw them on. This is a very cool board. I get these in bulk. I have a server grade source that uses these, and they're slowly retiring them, so they're no longer needed, and I get them with, usually I get them as, with an i7 6700 and 8 gigs of SODIMM memory, but the same source I also get DDR4 16 gig kits from a completely different application though, and those are with a lot of proprietary stuff, so I can't reuse those, the hardware itself. But I'm just gonna kind of try to tuck this in. This doesn't need to be an excellent cable management. I'm gonna do the best I can, but this is a case where the actual necessity, visually speaking, for cable management is at a very minimum here. My OCD kind of requires me to do some basic level of cable management, but it's probably going to be more than is actually necessary for this application. I'm going to try to... Kind of tempted to stick a zip tie on there to wedge it in a little better, to be honest. This is really obsessive compulsive. I don't really need to do this, but I'm going to. Okay, and then we will add our M.2. I was originally going to use a leftover 2.5 256 SATA I had laying around, because for this particular application, no, I kind of want it a little bit tighter. For this particular application, we don't really need need a big drive, but the M.2 allowed me to clean up the cabling just a little bit, because without the 2.5, I don't need, check something here real fast, I don't need the SATA power connector, so it just allowed me to clean it up just a little bit. Not necessary, but just a tad bit, which is always nice. Okay, then we're going to add our memory, which, interestingly enough, the memory I get is actually fairly good RAM. It's good, it's basic, but it's Transcend, which isn't bad stuff. Okay, so we put, boom. I'm guessing that this system would take up to 32. It's really completely unnecessary. I don't know. I mean, I guess a board like this, you're going to use it for server-grade applications, so maybe. Okay, so now, let's see if I can figure out how to do this right. Did I? Oh, okay, so that is how you do that. Okay, let's see if I can do this without having to, I might have to unscrew We'll see in a second, though. And actually, I missed one thing. This front panel on the little case actually comes off. Well, let's take that off just to make our life a little bit simpler while we're building. I had meant to take it off originally, but I just forgot. There's just a couple of screws on the bottom. Camera doesn't seem to be able to focus as close as I thought either. Okay. So, pardon any audio anomalies or anything else. What the heck? Oh, it just got little holes that it slides into. Okay. This is all brand new equipment, new cameras, new mics, new everything. So I am just learning. That's why I haven't made videos in a while, was I decided to upgrade everything to do this a little bit nicer, but it's taking me a while to figure out how to use everything. I'm not exactly the world's fastest learner when it comes to new gear. Bought all this nice gear, but I have no idea how to use any of it. Okay, so we gotta put that in. Okay, so that's on. So then I can kind of just move our motherboard in there. Good? Is it gonna work? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so then we just need to screw the board in. And of course I totally forgot. Are these? Yeah, I think they're small. Let's try a small one first. Yeah, I think we're right here. Okay. I'm probably not going to be able to get the color right completely on the video just because I'm using... unfortunately, I don't have the best lighting set up, and so I'm kind of forced to choose between just generally insufficient lighting or totally overpowered lighting. And in this particular application, we are better off with overpowered lighting than just insufficient lighting. I don't know if I can... Oh, can I show it? No, there's a screw hole. I'm going to try to show... Oh, there it is. Okay. Where are we? It's that one? That one, right there. These ITX boards are standard. They're just one... they always have one... I'm sorry, not one. They always have four... they're always configured with four screw holes. So put this in there. And let's see, one of the little ones. Where are you? One more. Where was our last one? Was it that one? It was. Okay. Oh, that's a little odd. I think we're good. Oh, it didn't go quite as much as I wanted. Okay. We are good to go. Okay, so we've got the base of the system built. Yeah, that was one of my concerns. It's so tight with the way this case is. Honestly, I wish they had the ability on this one to move the inside a little bit, because the video card I'm using is a little on the smaller side, or the thinner side anyway, single slot. So, okay, so let's put in this. And let's, you know what, I wish I would have run that under there. Didn't even think about that. I'm kind of tempted to. The obsession is real, my friends. Oh, I don't know. Do I need to do that? I don't feel like I need to do that. No, you don't want to put that under there either. Okay, so let's do, so if I remember right, these have a little bit of an unusual I/O configuration. If I remember right, the top, that one is for that. Okay, and then let's put in our video card. Very cool, kind of middle of the road performance-wise. Low end by modern standards. It's not a gaming card, but it's a surprisingly capable little unit. Let's see, what do I got going on here? Oh yeah, I thought that might happen. Let's loosen this. In fact, I think I'm going to loosen that. Put the card in. Okay. There we go. There's that. And then, yeah, and then just tighten it up. Doesn't seem to want to focus on what I want it to focus on quite right there. Oh, there it goes. Gonna go? You gonna focus? Does not want to. What is it focusing on? It really wants to focus on that. Okay. That's gone now. Okay. So then we screw that in. Screw our GPU in. And then make sure the camera's still recording. I think this is supposed to have a, guessing 30-minute limit on this one. We might be done by then. Okay, so there's that. And then, let's see if we can, it doesn't want to wedge the way I want. Let's try this. Is it gonna work now? It's gonna tear the cable up if I try to do anything with it. Okay, let's just leave that because this has enough space, so I should be able to put that front panel back on. And then next thing we want to do is put our mini power supply in. I did already do some minor amount of cable management here. Did I do it right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you know what though? That needs to be a little bit different. You gotta make sure to run all this stuff prior or else you're not gonna be able to get it through. You want that one. So here. Let's actually see if we can pre-plug. Ooh, no, it's the other way. Plug that one in, and it does not want to go as tight as I want. That one. There we go. Okay, so then we kind of pull. So some of this is not perfectly cable manageable. Some of these wires are just going to have to be kind of shoved wherever we can shove them. I'm going to do as good of a job as I can, but and let's actually grab real fast some zip ties. Zip tie a little bit of that up. Doesn't need to be perfect, but those are too big. Kind of want to do a little better than that. I kind of want to zip tie this little cable run here. Let's see here. I guess, oh shit. That is not good. Of course I would do that. Bah. I may have to fix that later. We'll find out though. I just accidentally clipped one of the cables coming out. It's one of the smaller ones, so I'm guessing it's like one of the Sense ones or something, but now I gotta be a little more careful not to break the wires while I'm doing this. Okay, so put that in. Okay. So now we just got to screw in the power supply. I actually decided to go with thumb screws on this, just to make life a little easier. That shouldn't be having a problem. What's going on here? There we go. Okay. So then this one, like I said, you kind of got to just tuck them wherever. I think I was going to put that one up there. Let's see here. I guess when I originally did this, I didn't have it open like this. I guess I could try to kind of wiggle it under there, under the GPU. Okay, that should work fine. So then, let's see if we can do this. Do I have enough space? I might have enough space to shove this all down there. Okay, I think we can make that work. Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna work. And then this is gonna need to go up in here. Okay, so I think we're actually fairly well managed, to be honest. Actually, probably a little better than I was expecting to end up with. Okay. Looks like my RAM slot is, my RAM sticks are still fine. I was a little worried I was going to pop those back up. Okay, so then we want to put that, let's put the front panel back on. So you can kind of see. So it's got two little grooves. Oh, that actually worked better than I expected. Okay, so that makes me kind of happy. Okay. Screw this back in. Crummy. And it just occurred to me, did I screw that up? Can I still recover that one? I might still be able to recover that without taking that apart. Okay, good. And this is, there's no space for any fans in this thing. What this little cable is, actually, is the aftermarket fan. Goes right in the corner there, so I might have to pull this up. Let's pull that out for just a second, and that out for just a second, and plug. You can't really see it. There's no way for me to really show this. But this is the aftermarket fan that I installed in the power supply, because these Flex ATX power supplies don't really ship with the best fans. And they tend, because they're really, really small, there we go. Did I get you? We got you. Okay, cool. Because of how small they are, they tend to run at high RPMs, and it takes a fairly high quality fan to run at that kind of RPM without just being noisy as heck. Okay, so as you can see, we actually have a pretty clean little build here. Assuming I don't have to rip the whole thing apart to fix that cable. And then the simple way to do this, you should put the side panel back on. Should be good to go. So it's a fun little build. It's kind of expensive. I'll talked about that before, but okay, last panel. Bam. We are good to go. And I think I did that in under a half hour. So just our little mini box. Boom. So, hope you guys enjoyed.